Man, those eggs that you gave me, bro, were good.
What?
Those eggs?
Yeah, man. That's Central American food for you, man. I didn't cook them.
Well, your mom did an amazing job.
Nah, she's really good. Like, she's a good cook.
Yeah.
she'll always ask me, like, oh, what do you think of this? And she'll ask me because she knows how brutally honest I am.
So you are the judger.
Nah.
And Gordon Ramsay here?
Nah, bro. I'm not a chef like that, but
You're just evil.
Yeah, but it's good, right?
Dude.
It's a nice snack, right?
Oh, amazing. Yeah, it's the best.
Yep.
She knows her role, bro.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't think she needs to think of it as a role. It comes as an instinct to her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude.
Naturally.
Yeah, because like as I see the role, I mean, I don't want to say that, but the way they interact, my dad and my mom, like they know I guess you could say as their role.
Yeah.
It's very instinctual. Like it's an instinct. They know, like, not because they were raised in Honduras and not just because they're Christians, but like there's a natural to it. There's some natural to it.
So it's an instinct, you said? Oh, okay.
Is that confusing?
No. I get it.
Yeah.
It's something natural.
Yeah, I mean.
So when does it become unnatural?
I mean, if we're gonna talk about this, right? And 1 Corinthians chapter 11, Paul talks about the hierarchy of at least here on earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
God is head, his son, and then the man, and then the wife, right?
Yeah.
And it's in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, you know? And Paul writes to the Corinthians, it seems like they were having an issue with that, right? They were having an issue who was supposed to, you know, who takes the role, who not, who's submitting to who's honoring who, and how that plays with God being involved, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I love the order. It's Christ, right? Christ over man, man over woman, woman over children, right?
I think right now in our society, if you say it like that, you might get some different looks.
Oh,
you might get some rebuttal for it or something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Look, I'll give you an example. And this is like hypothetically speaking, right? I have kids. Let's say one of them is a daughter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's hypothetical, obviously. She, gets pregnant before marriage, before that. What do you think my reaction is going to be as a father?
Well, I think your first reaction would be like, wow, she likes men. Awesome.
Well, yes, that is true because this is a crazy world. Right?
Yeah.
I'd be crossing my fingers and like, Dad, I did something. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm going to be like, what happened? I got pregnant. And in my head, I'm going to be like, oh, thank God. But I'll act like, oh no, why did you do that? And I'm like crossing my fingers. Oh, thank God she likes men. Right. This is no offense to anybody, but that's worst case scenario, right? But in this case, she tells me, and obviously if I love God first above even my own family and my own kids, I have to uphold that what cannot be tolerated, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So I say, okay, that's fine. Why would I get angry? She already did what she did. I would hope that the guy who did that sticks around. If he doesn't, well, that's gonna suck for her a lot.
Damn.
Right? So at least in my scenario, because I would want to, hopefully, if I do get to that point, be like, all right, it's fine. Don't worry about it. But you know what? You know the rules. We spoke about this before. You know, you gotta go. You know, we'll find you a place. We'll give you some money so you can help yourself. But you gotta, because if you were able to use your five senses to give into such a thing, then clearly you can definitely use it to hustle.
No, that sounds fair.
But you know, we'll find you a place. We'll give you something to start with, right? But imagine if what I just did was applied in ancient times. She'd be miserable.
Wait, wouldn't they get stoned?
Well, number one, if you were within the community, you probably die.
Oh no, listen.
And if in the event they have mercy, where would she go? She'd be homeless.
Yeah, that's true.
She'd be ridiculed in society, right?
Yeah.
So there are some perks into living in the modern times, because that will never happen, literally, because of human rights and the help that you're going to get and all of that. So the woman essentially will never witness that type of suffering.
Yeah, we have it good nowadays. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So we live in different times. That's the picture I'm trying to paint. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we live so good that we abuse it,
right? Because me telling her to leave, like the scenario I'm telling you, I wouldn't feel too bad, because I know that she can get help out there from the government or whatever.
Yeah.
But I have to uphold, right? Just like Joshua said, like, me and my household will serve the Lord. We have to apply that too. Just because she's my daughter, I'm just going to tolerate it. But I'm obviously going to do it with love, right?
Yeah, of course. No, I totally see what you're saying. No, and you're holding like the standards of like respecting God.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of families, they say, we're a Christian family, but then they tolerate a lot of things that are secular.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean I'm going to kick her out with not showing her the love. I'm going to show her.
Yeah, you're going to show her love. Yeah.
First of all, the fatherly love. I'm assuming that by that time, hopefully, if I'm alive, if that gets to happen, and also with the love of God. But she also needs to understand that there are consequences there. Why I need that, because what if I have other kids? They need to see also that I am serious about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know? So then they're going to know, okay, yeah, we can't do that. And she's going to appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because she'll be like, okay.
My father really loves God. Yeah.
He really loves God. He really loves me.
Yeah.
They're not just kicking me out. They're going to help me out, figure it out. Yeah. That's in the event. Imagine if the guy doesn't stick around. If the guy sticks around, okay, then. She won't have to go through it so much. But if, you know.
Yeah.
So, or whatever. You stay here, but you got to pay rent.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
You need to know that there are consequences to those actions. Because at the end of the day, you can't really control that. If she becomes intimate before marriage or not. Like, you can teach her and do everything the best you can.
Yeah.
Right. But in this case, living in the world that we live in, I'm going to be like, thank the Lord. but there have to be repercussions so that her other siblings can see that I am serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, yes.
So going back to the hierarchy, we live in modern times where, like, a woman can be by herself if she wants.
Yeah, she has the opportunity to do it. Yeah.
She can. She has all the rights. She can have a career. She can do all of these things, right? But I think the challenge is she wants to have all of that, and then at the same time, embrace her instinct as a woman. There's almost like a contradiction within nature with that. You know what I mean?
No, it's totally. I can see it, and we see it every day. I see it all the time. It sucks, but I've heard I heard you know Jesse Lee Peterson.
Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah,
yeah, he's like a a woman that cares so much about her career makes bad wives. They make bad wives.
I mean, and it's not just him. I mean, there's other people that talk, like, there's so many secular people outside who are coming to this realization within nature.
Yeah.
That true feminism is the woman who actually embraces her instinct as a woman, what it means to be a wife, or what it means to be a mother, motherhood, and everything. That doesn't mean she's not allowed to have a career per se, right? You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I believe a woman can have a career 100%. But when it starts becoming her priority over her family, that's when it becomes an issue.
And what do you love so much about what Paul is describing there?
I don't know. It makes sense. It just makes sense, bro. God will forever and ever and ever will always be over us, dominating us. We're like a speck, we're like a little speck. And then the man will always forever be stronger than the woman. That's just, speaking naturally,
Yeah.
And the man can handle hits. The man can handle a shovel and a pickaxe. A man can handle a lot of stress,
Yeah, a man can handle like harsh labor.
Harsh labor, yeah. And then the woman needs to take care of the kids because the kids, they need that like caring, loving, mom.
See, those are instincts that
naturally.
Scientifically speaking, I don't know. I read this somewhere, and I don't even remember where, but I remember the information that once a kid is born and everything, the woman almost like forgets about the husband, not on purpose.
Oh, really?
Not on purpose.
No way.
It's like an instinctual thing. She's just like, the kid matters at this moment.
Actually, I do see that.
Right?
I do see that, yeah.
So if a man doesn't understand that, if he feels like he's being neglected, and he doesn't understand that he potentially can be unfaithful to his wife, if he doesn't understand that, because and sometimes the guy, because he feels that he has that need that needs to be satisfied, right? That sexual need. If he doesn't understand that and it falls into that trap, big problem starts, right?
Oh, that's why Paul talks about like finding yourself in trouble with the flesh when you're married.
Yeah.
Yeah, problems.
Because they both have to like satisfy themselves.
Yeah.
Right? But when a kid comes into the picture, her hormones, she releases these hormones where the focus is on her. The kid, the husband or the man have to understand that. They have to snap out of it for like a couple moments because like she needs to attend and nurture that kid. All her hormones are fixated and focused on that child now.
It just makes sense.
Right?
It makes a lot of sense, yeah.
So, but we're talking in just normal terms. But now that we're all both Christians, like, right? The man and female are Christian. Both love God. I think it's good to be knowledgeable of how the woman behaves when the kid is born, so that the guy can anticipate certain things, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So he can be patient and anticipate. Otherwise, you're going to fall very soon into a trap, which would lead to severe consequences, right?
Yeah.
And also, vice versa. I would assume the woman or wife also has to consider that when this happens, she also has to keep in mind that her husband also, or man, is going to still has needs.
Yeah, there has to be a balance, is what you're saying, right?
So I think both parties have to be knowledgeable of what, not only the instinct role, but also what it means scientifically as a man and a woman, so they can both anticipate, right? Because remember, at the end of the day, they both serving God. He's the center of the relationship. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's interesting how you started with this topic, all because of food.
Dude, yeah. I guess those eggs were that good.
Yeah. And I think in this society, right? And this is not to sound so like overly masculine, right?
Nah, dude, you're going to offend me, but go ahead.
But I think in America, the Western culture, I would say things here are kind of different because the majority of the countries around the world outside of America, this is nothing new. what we're talking about, this is nothing new.
Yeah, like in other countries, this is natural.
This is natural. It's a known. It's a known thing.
Yeah,
like in Romania, like all those countries.
Yeah,
like in Europe, depending how progressive the country is, then it's like the Western world. But
no, because I've heard American men go down to other foreign region countries because they're like, yeah, the women down there are so much better than here.
Because they're looking for a wife, right?
Yeah,
and that doesn't mean that's trying to like put down a woman. And I have scripture to prove it to you, by the way, that a woman can still succeed while being a real woman.
Oh yeah. This in Proverbs, right?
Yeah, I'll prove it to you. I found it too. I have it here. But before we go, before I read this, in other countries this is normal.
Yeah,
right. It's here, and Mexico and Canada, I would say. Wherever the ideas are progressive, they think that men and women are equal, right?
Yeah. No, it blows my mind. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know where you're going with this. Yeah, like,
they're equal. Yeah. They're equal in creation.
Yeah, exactly. You can't hate, each other. Yeah.
You honor her. Mm-hmm. She submits, just like Scripture says.
Exactly.
But because her submitting doesn't mean you're ruling her. You're ruling over her with an iron fist. No, exactly. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Right. She's submitting to you because you are showing love and honor to her, because she's a fragile glass, how Paul calls it.
Fragile glass. Yeah.
But she's honoring you because you provide that space for her to submit with that womanhood. But it's a submission not of like, I follow your orders. It's a submission of like, you are my queen. I mean, my king. And the guy honors her by saying, you are my queen. Mm-hmm. Right? But they both follow their own instinct and what they were made for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, naturally.
Right?
Exactly.
But it seems to be here that idea, once you speak about it, it is challenged. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, super challenged.
And that's just one area. But then there's another area where like a woman is just like wants to be like just stepping all over the guy. Right? And that's not how it is. And I think the woman who thinks that way is because they were raised without a dad, and she's seen her mom having to raise them all alone. Yeah. They grow up with that mentality.
Exactly. So it's like it's the guy's fault and the woman's fault. Because if the guy leaves,
there's consequences.
There's consequences.
Of how the kids grow up, yes.
I think, if I'm not mistaken...
Vice versa, too, as well.
No, yeah. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there is a Bible verse where God says that, if a man does not take care of his household, he is worse than a non-believer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read that before, too.
Yeah, right? Which, wow. I mean, a non-believer already is bad enough.
Mm-hmm. To imagine the one who leaves.
God says he's worse than a non-believer.
That's crazy, yeah.
Wow.
But Scripture also says that when a man finds a wife, he sees that
it's good,
pleasing. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not to say, right, as Christians, I think we need to keep it simple. Sometimes we overcomplicate it, right?
Wait, can I ask you a question, though?
All right, go for it.
What do you think about men kneeling down to propose?
Oh, come on, dude.
I'm sorry, dude. I had to ask that.
Look, man, I don't know.
You want me to give my honest opinion first? All right, I think it's kind of beta. Beta. Sorry. Yeah, I think it is, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's weird. It's almost like
I don't know.
Like you're like bowing down.
I mean, I would never do that, and I'm sure what she's expecting is to get proposed at, right? Yeah. She's expecting it.
Uh-huh.
But is she going to see me kneel down for me to ask the question? Probably not. That's not going to happen.
Nah, dude, like, that's so
highly unlikely thing.
That's so uncomfortable. Yo, just sit down and be like, yo, here. You're the one for me, I'm the one for you. And
I think it's even better when if I was to like meet her and be like, hey, should we just get married? We already know.
That's alpha. I'm sorry, dude. To me, that's alpha, bro. When guys like Dude, they rent places. They like spend thousands of dollars for a proposal of 10 seconds.
I mean, that's all like marketing, bro. Like,
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to do all of that. Because if you were to come into an agreement with your wife, like, hey, listen, let's just get married, bada bing, bada boom, right? Let's go, move forward. Dude. And then if you want to spend like money, like a significant amount of money, then spend it in the honeymoon, like go travel, right?
That's worth it, in my opinion.
Right? That's a little bit. That's actually more memorable. Yeah. And if you don't even have the money, then you're just in absolute debt.
Exactly.
After that, with fake money, by the way.
No, and not only that, like preparing stuff is stressful too.
And we're definitely going to get criticized because what do we know? We're not married.
I know, but if someone comes and tells me that, I'm going to be like, oh, so I guess what Paul said, Christ said, it didn't even matter then. Oh, well.
Yeah, because Paul wasn't even married.
No, he wasn't.
They say that he was and he separated, but, scholars and theologians don't know what to say, really.
Yeah, they say anything. Christ wasn't married either.
Nah.
Single, roaming around.
But, I mean, Paul does say in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, he talks about how like if you're in flaming passion, right, to go ahead and get married.
Yeah,
but he's not talking about the single person. He's talking about the couple. You got to read that carefully.
Yeah, read
it carefully. He's talking about the couple. That those two people, if they're in flaming passion, just tie the knot. Just let's go. Let's move forward. Why do you got to keep playing fire?
Yeah,
he's not talking about the single person.
No.
He's not. You got to read that carefully. And then if you keep reading. There's also a misinterpretation there too, because as he's speaking, he says if you get don't leave your wife, like let's say she's not a believer but you are, don't leave her because you don't know that along the way she might become a believer because of you being with her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying.
He says that because that was happening in the church of the Corinthians. It seems like there was a lot of believers. There was a lot of couples that at once they weren't, but then one did believe, but that person still remained with the other person even if they didn't believe.
Okay, yeah.
That doesn't happen in our time anymore. Very rarely now because pretty much the whole world knows about Christianity.
Yeah.
At this point, it's a different problem. It's a problem of I'm a Christian, you're a Muslim, or I'm a Muslim, you're a Jew, or I'm a Jew, I'm a Christian. Like that's a different issue. He's talking about like a couple that one believed, but the other one still doesn't believe. Mm-hmm. He says, stay with them because you don't know that perhaps along the way they become a believer because of you, right?
Yeah.
So, and if you keep reading, he also talks about like if once you get married, obviously you give all your attention to the wife. And no longer to the business of God. So now your priority is to the wife. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you read carefully, he's still referring to the couple who one is a believer and one is not. He's not talking to a couple that both are believers.
That's true. Yeah, because you gotta...
Because you're going to tell me that two believers who love God with everything and get married, they still can't focus in the business of God. Of course they can.
They're going to put God over everything.
Yeah, of course they are. But he's talking about a couple that one is a believer and the other one is not. And
exactly.
In that case, in that advice he's giving, then you have to give her all the attention.
You have to decide.
That's why he says,
and everything. Yeah.
How I wish that you would stay like me because you could focus in the business of God. Mm-hmm. All right. And why do we bring this up about, because you brought up the whole, my mom being like, because of the food she cooked. And you're like, she seems to know her role. Why do we bring this up? Because I feel like just because, let's say you get married, all of a sudden you have to give her your undivided attention. Do you not, like, whose love is going to override now?
Yeah. It makes sense, yeah.
Like, you can't, that love you give to your wife cannot be equal to God.
It cannot.
It can't. It's just impossible. It would just contradict scripture. And then your love is contradicting as well now.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's why that order is so perfect, bro. God over man. And then the man sees that God's priority.
And yeah, I mean, if you want to look at it this way, like how Christ is the husband and the church is the wife. Mm-hmm. Right? You can serve your wife in that perspective, but your love can never override the love that you have for God. Otherwise, then you're becoming unworthy. Not because you now love your wife more than God. How's that possible?
Yeah.
Or is it that now we're implementing marital social concepts into our faith?
You're talking about like systems. Is that what you're trying to say? Programs?
No, not that. I'm just talking about like social like concepts of what it means to be married, and you're incorporating it into the faith.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Dude, I mean, it seems simple to me. Just put God.
It can work. It might not work. But
Yeah.
how about you let God be the center of your marriage, and both of you have to love God more than you guys love each other. But since you're husband and wife, you guys got to love each other like you would love your neighbor too. Obviously, it's the romantic love, right?
Yeah.
Right, because you can't love. Like I really hope God ever calls me out if I get to love my wife more than God. He better. He better call me out. A true brother in Christ better call me out.
Oh, dude.
Or she better call me out.
Exactly.
Like, hey, God is first. Remember, babe, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So
no, but if you love God above everything, then naturally,
oh yeah,
you will serve your wife.
The same is true.
Neighbor.
The same is true for her too.
Exactly. So I love what you said one time. You were like, if my wife loves God above everything, then she has everything that I want.
Yeah,
literally.
And if she loves God more than me, I should never fear that she'd be unfaithful to me.
Exactly, because she fears God, the Almighty God, more than.
And if she knows that I love God more than her, she knows I'm not going to be unfaithful to her.
Exactly.
Now,
not even in thoughts.
Exactly. Now, if she starts to love me more, like she starts to love me more, more than God, I should be concerned. It'll be flattering, yes, but super concerned. Because now she's now depending on my love. She's not depending on God's love. So now she's depending on the love she's showing me, which is human. And now she then starts going into a road that if I don't reciprocate that back, what's going to happen? And what I mean by reciprocate, meaning that all that love she's showing me, and I'm like trying to focus on the things of God, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, you're going to get sidetracked, right?
I'm going to get sidetracked. And if I don't get sidetracked and I stay focused, then she's going to look for somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
Because she no longer depends on the love of God, because now she loves me more than she loves God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a huge problem.
And love is God.
Is it not?
And everything that involves with holiness, strength, it's all one thing.
God.
But if she remains in that love of God at all times, and I do, we will never worry about us being unfaithful.
No, absolutely
We'll always be happy. I will always love her because I love God so much.
You're gonna naturally love her.
It'll be maybe it'll be like perhaps like that taste, that glimpse of what probably Adam and Eve had in the Garden of Eden.
Oh yeah, I remember asking you about that. Yeah,
that I think you can achieve that when both love God above everything. Maybe you can have that taste, like a glimpse.
That taste of
But if both start to love each other more than God, don't think that is a glimpse of Adam and Eve. That's just, you're setting yourself up for failure. And when I mean by failure, I'm not saying like divorce, but I'm just talking about like a bunch of domino effects are going to happen when you start to love each other more.
No, it makes sense.
You know what I mean? So going back to the idea that you said you like what Paul said.
Oh, about running into the problems within the flesh? Like
No. When you said you like the order, God, Jesus, man. Right?
It's the most alpha order out there.
Yeah, but I want to read something that's scriptural, that the woman can also be able to do many great things.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
While in that order, right?
I agree.
So it's in Proverbs, I believe, chapter 31:10. It says, "Who can find the virtuous wife? Her worth is far above rubies." Do you know what rubies are?
those like
little red crystals.
Yeah, I was gonna say crystals. Yeah.
It says that her worth is far beyond that.
How much is a ruby worth?
I don't even know.
It's probably a lot.
The heart of her husband safely trusts her.
There you go.
So he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax and willingly works with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar, and she also rises while yet at night and provides food and for her household and a portion of her maidservants. She considers field and buys it. Okay, so the first few verses, she's like doing all this stuff for the husband and for the family. But look what verse 16. In this moment right here, she's like a real estate person or
entrepreneur.
Considers an investment, she says. And it says she considers a field like land, and buys it. Right?
Wow. Yeah.
So that means she can not also provide her instinct as a woman, right? But she can also be able to produce by assets and means of dealing, right? From her profits, she plants vineyards.
Oh, wow. So she labors.
So she's a businesswoman.
Yeah.
Right? She girds herself with strength. That means she means business. She's a serious woman. A woman you do not want to trifle with, right? And strengthens her arms. She perceives that her merchandise is good. That means she knows that what she works for, her product, is good to sell. And her lamp does not go out by night. She stretches out her hands to the distaff, and her hand holds the spindle. She extends her hand to the poor. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, sounds amazing so far.
Yes, she reaches out her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of snow for her household. For all her household is clothed with scarlet. She makes tapestry for herself. Her clothing is fine linen purple. Her husband is known in the gate. So look, not only does she know how to buy land, make profit, sell products, she doesn't forget her role. She knows that it's cold. She makes sure her family is clothed. She dresses herself properly. She looks the part that she is.
Mm-hmm.
And look what this part says here. Her husband is known in the gates. So she honors her husband to the point where whoever is around the neighborhood or community, she's known, that's that woman's husband. Oh my God, yo, that's crazy. It's like that. Do you understand that concept?
Yeah, no, I totally understand it.
When he sits amongst the elders of the land, she makes linen garments and sells them, and supplies sashes and merchants, strengthens in her honor and her clothing. She shall rejoice in time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom. That means she was a wise person. And on her tongue is the law of kindness. She watches over the ways of her household. What does that mean? She watches over the ways of her household.
So she's still in her role, right? As a woman, right?
No, she makes sure the ways that everybody in her household is walking
straight.
Properly.
Yeah.
So that means she's not only taking care of them with food, with clothes and everything, she's also educating.
Oh, okay.
And does not eat bread of idleness. Okay? Her children rise up and call her blessed. Wow. They love her because she's an instinct.
Yeah.
Many daughters have done well, but you excel them all. Charm is deceitful. You know what charm is?
Charm, yeah, like humor. The beauty. Yeah.
Humor. No.
Oh, humor. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Humor is deceitful.
It is deceitful.
How do you conquer a woman?
You flirt with her.
That's essentially it's a deception, right? And beauty is passing, meaning you might look like this right now, but 10, 20 years from now, you can keep good shape, but you're not going to look exactly the same. So beauty passes. But a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her the fruit of her hand, and let her own works praise her in the gates. So what did we just read about a woman? About the virtuous wife.
Dude, that she does all these amazing things, but she never forgot her role.
She never forgot. And it's not that she forgot. She already knew. It was an instinct.
It was natural.
It was natural to
instinct,
her.
yeah.
Even though she bought land, she made profit, planted a vineyard. She would make products and sell them.
Mm-hmm.
She honored her husband. Her family was always clothed, always had food. As a woman, as true feminism, she never forgot her instinct. It was an instinct. But she still was able to be a businesswoman, because that's a perhaps not like the way it is in our modern time, but what you were able to do in those times, buy and sell products, you were a merchant.
Yeah.
What a salesman is today, back then, is a merchant.
Amazing.
You buy products, you make something out of it, and you sell it. She bought land, made profit, planted a vineyard. She was able to, in a way, to profit, but never forgot what it meant to be a woman.